The investigation into the Ped Mall shooting continues. We have more details from law enforcement and the community.
Next semester.
Iowa football's roster.
And a sold-out evening with Friendly Bullets at the Angler Theater.
Cooler temperatures and rain ahead. I'll have the full forecast coming up.
All that and more
Coming up right now on DITV.
Good morning from Iowa City. It is Friday, April 24th. I'm Josie Boyle.
And I'm Linda Lacco.
And the third member of our team, journalism student Aviva Adams-Wilk, is live at Duane Banks Field to tell us today's weather forecast.
Aviva, what's this weekend going to look like?
Well, thanks, Josie and Linda. It looks like we have a beautiful weekend ahead. Taking a look at the Pennacrest. Today will be a little cooler than the past few days with a high of 70 degrees with cloudy skies all day. Tonight, temperatures will drop to around 40 degrees with some wind. Saturday will be similar with a high in the mid-70s with partial clouds and more wind gusts. Saturday evening will be overcast with a low around 48 degrees. While we may not be getting any sunshine this weekend, I'll be spending some time outside. But for now, back to you guys.
We have new updates on the shooting that took place in downtown Iowa City last weekend.
DITV's Ryan Lynch is live downtown with the latest. Ryan?
I'm live in downtown Iowa City, where the shooting occurred almost a week ago. And within this week, we've received more information about what exactly went down that early morning. DITV's Hannah Fideli attended an Iowa City Police Department press briefing and has all the latest information.
The Iowa City Police Department hosted a press conference at City Hall to update the public on the progress of the pedestrian mall shooting. Mayor Teagues opened with how he has seen the Iowa City community come together during this tragedy.
Iowa City is a strong and compassionate community. And in moments like this, we come together to support one another. That is one of our greatest strengths.
And Police Chief Liston gave from the series of events to the name of the accused suspect in the shooting.
April 19th, video evidence shows Demarion Marshawn Jones, 17, of Cedar Rapids, engaged in a fight at the 100 block of East College Street in the downtown pedestrian mall.
At approximately 1:45 a.m. on April 19th, officers were dispatched to a fight involving at least 40 people in the Ped Mall. They arrived within 45 seconds. The suspect was then handed a firearm from another individual and fired 6 shots into the crowd of people, hitting 5 bystanders, none of them involved in the fight. One woman suffered a life-threatening shot to her head. Another was shot in the arm and chest cavity. One victim was shot in the leg. Another victim was shot in both legs, and one victim was shot in the abdominal area. 3 victims have been released from the hospital, but several will still need multiple surgeries, and 2 still remain, 1 in critical condition. The suspect, Demarion Marshawn Jones' whereabouts are still unknown. Once found, he will be tried in Johnson County as an adult with several felony counts. Police are still investigating what he was doing downtown that night, but they don't think he was in any of the downtown establishments.
And Iowa City Police have worked over 300 hours of overtime and have received help from law enforcement at the local, state, and federal levels in this effort. Anyone with information on Demarion Marshawn Jones's whereabouts can contact the number on your screen now. The ICPD wants to thank everyone who sent in tips so far, as it has significantly helped the speed of this investigation. And even with updates on the tragedy last weekend, there are still some uncertainties about people's plans for Iowa City nightlife. DITV's Kate Vernon has the latest on how people feel about going downtown this weekend.
Every weekend, downtown is filled with people looking to enjoy whatever the city has to offer. However, things may be changing in light of the recent shooting that took place Sunday morning.
Whenever there was, a shooting back when I was in college, I think it made people a little bit more on edge for a little bit, but as soon as a week or two passed, it kind of just seemed like more people forgot about it.
I feel like this kind of thing happens every few years, and I try not to panic because it's just going to happen in a few years again.
Although there are many unanswered questions about the events that unfolded last weekend, Iowa City was quick to respond with extra safety measures. University of Iowa students were sent a message on Wednesday detailing updates from the investigation and the implementation of extra safety measures downtown. The UI Police Department will provide 4 additional officers on Friday and Saturday during the night's busiest hours, but many are questioning whether or not this will be beneficial.
I think it's good to take extra safety precautions, but it's hard to say if it actually does anything, especially if it's just, short term, and then it's not addressing any of the root problems of the situation.
I think it'll make people going out just want to be a little more safer, kind of more aware of what's going on around them.
As the city decides how to respond to the tragedy, we'll have to wait and see if this will be business as usual for downtown this weekend. From downtown Iowa City, Kate Vernon, DITV.
This is a developing story, and DITV will continue to provide updates as they come out. Live from downtown Iowa City, Ryan Lynch, DITV.
And students can expect to pay more in tuition for the 2026-2027 academic year. The Iowa Board of Regents voted unanimously 8-1 to increase tuition effective August 24th. In-state tuition will rise by about $300 and out-of-state tuition will rise by about $500. A UI student leader expressed their concern about this tuition increase, saying that it will force students to work more or take on more debt. The Daily Iowan sent print reporter Lance Peterson to the Board of Regents meeting, and you can find their story on the Daily Iowan website.
And more from the Board of Regents, University of Iowa engineering students could have more options for majors. The UI proposed a computer engineering major to the Board of Regents on Wednesday. Right now, students studying computer engineering have the major in electrical engineering and computer engineering track. The UI said the change would create a degree that aligns with students' interests and career goals. The Daily Iowan sent print reporter Ariel Colder to the meeting where they proposed this change. Check out her story on thedailyiowan.com.
And immigrant families and their supporters are left disappointed after the Johnson County Board of Supervisors voted against increasing funding for immigrant services. Community members representing immigrant advocacy group Escucha Mi Voz were asking the county to dedicate $300,000 in support for immigrant families in its 2027 budget. There were 232 messages and 8 in-person requests presented at the board's meeting on Thursday morning, in addition to public comment during Wednesday night's work session. In the end, a 3-2 vote struck down the budget amendment.
Iowa lawmakers are taking aim at vaping while also trying to fund cancer research. A bill passed in Senate would add a small tax on vapes and nicotine pouches, with the money going toward pediatric cancer research. Supporters say it could bring in millions and help kids battling cancer, but critics argue that the tax is too low to actually reduce nicotine use. The measure now heads to the House for consideration. And for those who may be wondering how to properly toss your nicotine vapes, Iowa City is making it easier. The Landfill Recycling Center Hazard Material Collection Facility now accepting vapes can toss the devices during weekly collection hours, as seen on your screen. Disposing of the vapes in your regular trash can be dangerous, as the nicotine and lithium batteries can cause issues like fires.
Still coming up in sports, position battles heating up for Iowa football. Which Hawkeyes will hear their name at the NFL draft? And a whole lot of runs on the diamond.
And coming up later, a look inside a sold-out show at the Anglert with a very special guest. Coming up after the break.
Hi everyone, Jane Old, class of 2008. Shout out to DITV on 20 years. That's awesome. DITV prepared me for roles in TV newsrooms, both in Cedar Rapids at KCRG TV9, as well as Minneapolis at KARE 11. And those experiences led me to where I am today, leading research and development and supply chain communications for global food and ag company Cargill. Thank you to the Daily Iowan, DITV, all the professors and staff at the J School for helping set me up for success. Cheers to 20 more years, DITV. Go Hawks.
Welcome back to DITV Live this Friday morning. Well, Linda, I am a big fan of the rain, but I was a little startled when the storm sirens went off in the middle of the night last night.
I have to agree with you, Josie. I literally jumped out of bed. So hopefully there's great weather coming this week, but let's send it back outside to Aviva, who has the rest of the forecast this week ahead.
Thanks, guys. Looks like cooler temperatures ahead. But back to you guys. Sunday will be the warmest day of the week with a high in the mid-70s before dropping to the mid-50s in the evening. Thunderstorms will begin Sunday night and will continue into Monday, keeping the temperatures in the mid-60s. Monday evening's temperature will be around 45 degrees. We'll have a break from the rain on Tuesday with a high around 62 degrees before dropping to 40 degrees at night. Wednesday will be partly cloudy with a high in the mid-60s with an evening low of around 43 degrees with showers. Thursday brings more showers with a high around 64 degrees before dropping to 40 degrees at night. Well, guys, looks like we'll have a cooler week ahead, but make sure to bring your, and with rain, make sure to bring your umbrella when you're walking to class.
Well, thanks for that, Aviva. I am going to enjoy some of the sun. With the sun, I'm always getting active with it.
And speaking of being active, we have Nick here to tell us about what's going on in Hawkeye sports.
There is a lot to talk about. The Iowa football team hosted their annual coordinators press conferences on Wednesday to preview their side of the ball for the upcoming season. We have DITV's Cole Krieger outside Kinnick Stadium with a breakdown of what new information we have regarding the Iowa football program as the season gets closer.
Iowa starting quarterback in their Week 1 game against Northern Illinois, Week 1. But offensive coordinator Tim Lester has given high praise to not only Hecklinski, but also quarterback Hank Brown, showing that the competition is still neck and neck.
When I was trying to make very clear goals of what I want each one of them to do in the spring, and their numbers are really close. You know, I had a visiting coach in my office, and we had decent practice that he'd watched, and we're going through the numbers, and he was like, man.
He has been doing a good job of being aggressive, but not turning the ball over. He also comments on how Hank Brown's been excellent at downfield passing in practice. Now, another position of interest is the returner spot. New special teams head coach Chris Polisi has had a long list of names that are being considered to fill All-American Caden Weegen's shoes.
You should see the line for the Jugs machine is when the Dairy Queen down on Riverside opens up. I mean, that line is down around the corner. So it's a long and distinguished line of guys that are working towards it, and we won't know that until literally we run out of the tunnel at NIU.
Here at Kinnick Stadium tomorrow for their open spring practice, with the doors opening up at 10:45. Reporting live from Kinnick Stadium, Cole Krieger, DITV Sports.
Thanks, Cole. Staying on the topic of football, the NFL draft continues tonight in Pittsburgh. No Hawkeyes were selected yesterday, but rounds 2 and 3 have several projected to find a new home in the NFL tonight. Offensive linemen Jennings Dunker and Logan Jones are two of the top prospects coming out of Iowa. Many analysts believe they will be immediate competitors for starting roles in the NFL. Defensive end Max Llewellyn, guard Bo Stevens, and cornerback TJ Hall round out the next 3 players who many believe will be selected in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th rounds. The Iowa softball team is coming off a wild win against Northern Iowa. On Wednesday, the Hawkeyes defeated the Panthers 21-17. That's a football score if I've ever seen one, in Cedar Falls. The contest featured 8 homers with 18 combined runs in the 4th inning. 5 Hawkeyes had multi-RBI performances, led by Mackenzie Lightgen with 5. Iowa's 23 hits are their most in program history since 2012, when they recorded 29 against Iowa State. The Hawks open their weekend series against 4th-ranked Nebraska tonight at 5:30 p.m. Switching over to baseball, the Hawkeyes took on University of Illinois Chicago on Wednesday. We've got DITV's Morgan Burhans, who saw all the action at Dwayne Banks Field. Morgan, can you fill us in?
Yeah, Nick, the Iowa baseball team secured a 6-4 win against UIC. Now, coming to this game, Rick Heller and the coaching staff knew that this would not be an easy win against the Flames, who sit at the top of the conference. Let's take a look at how things went down. Unlike the day before, the Hawkeyes took a while to get warm after they went scoreless for the first 4 innings. UIC struck first with a 3-run homer in the second inning, putting Hawkeye fans on their toes. But it didn't take long for Mitch Wood to respond in the bottom of the 4th with a 3-run homer of his own.
There were some big hits. Mitch's home run was huge.
In the 6th, with the Hawkeyes back in the lead, UIC responded with an RBI single, making it a tied game. Rick Heller then turned to the bullpen to put a stop to the Flames, sending Jaron Bleeker to the mound.
Just kind of went out there, did what I normally do.
I just really thought he took a step forward tonight with just staying locked in, staying tough, mentally tough, and just competing.
While the Hawkeyes were able to tally 2 more runs to their total, Bleeker was able to shut out the Flames, leaving them scoreless in the last 3 innings. In the end, Iowa walked away with a 4-6 win, logging 11 hits to the Flames' 5. The Iowa baseball team will look to continue their hot streak against Indiana this weekend. Live from Duane Banks Field, Morgan Burhans, DITV Sports.
Thanks, Morgan. We'll stick with the topic of baseball as Kyle Olivo has been announced as a semifinalist for the 2026 John Olred Two-Way Player Award. Yesterday, 15 standouts were named representing the top dual role players in the nation. The redshirt freshman is hitting .308 off 26 at-bats and has 31 strikeouts in 29 innings. Former Hawkeye Tyler Payton was a semifinalist for the same award in 2015. That's what's going on in sports, guys.
Well, thanks, Nick. Well, I know there's art, so let's send things over to Cammie for the vibe.
Welcome back to another segment of The Vibe. I'm Camila Muniz, and I'm looking forward to bringing you more arts and culture and good vibes ahead. Author and cultural critic Fran Lebowitz gave a sold-out performance last night at the Englert Theater. Grace Lathrop has the details.
Fran Lebowitz, often described as the face of New York City, she is an icon, cultural critic, and lecturer. For many Iowans, traveling to New York requires an 1,000-mile trip. But luckily for them, the lecture committee brought a piece of the Big Apple right to the Englert Theater.
If you follow me this way through these stores, you're about to see a completely sold-out show. Fran Lebowitz is just minutes away from taking the stage.
A sold-out show like this takes months of preparation. The lecture committee, made up entirely of Iowa students, were the brains behind the operation.
And we all decided that she would be a great idea for Iowa City, for the students, bringing her from New York into Iowa. She's never been to the state before.
And although it was all hands on deck, Leibowitz's show checked an especially prominent box and was a dream come true for one committee member.
And I said to her, I said, well, I don't know if you know this, but, you know, I had to interview to become part of this committee, and they asked me who my dream speaker was, and I said it was you.
Mateo Lockmich is the youngest person so far to moderate a Fran Lebowitz lecture. With extensive preparation, he asked questions that spanned from her thoughts on political topics to her take on trending things like dating apps and influencers. But many audience members had one thing on their mind.
I'm just curious what she thinks of Iowa. I'm very excited to hear what she has to say.
And attendees did not leave disappointed. Leibowitz talked about a landmark many Iowans know and love, spreading laughter throughout the audience.
There was a lot of really good highlights, but I think when she talked about going to the world's largest truck stop, the I-80, I was like, thank goodness Fran got the true Iowan experience.
With one of the most successful turnouts of the year, the sky's the limit for the U-Iowa Lecture Committee. Grace Lathrop, DITV Arts and Culture.
And this weekend, the Iowa City International Documentary Film Festival will be showcasing innovative nonfiction short films at the Film Scene Cinemas and right here in the Adler Journalism Building. Run by University of Iowa students, this festival focuses on sharing the work of emerging and established filmmakers looking to connect with audiences through experimental documentaries. 8 different competitive shorts will be screening, and coffee hour talks with filmmakers will also be offered. The annual film festival will take place from April 24th to April 26th. Thank you so much for joining us on The Vibe. We'll see you next Friday.
And thank you for joining us online or listening on KRUI 89.7 FM.
We're here live for Iowa City every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. We'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching.